Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. I am Jackie Kochi Tamayo, and this is Region 9, the podcast. This is a great second edition that we started in 2023, so I hope everyone's new year has been great, and those who have been working the EOC because of the winter storms, our hats off to you. Thank you for your service, everyone, because we knew, or we didn't know it was coming, but definitely 2023 got us starting and activated at the very beginning. The series of 2023 that we started is kind of around the nation. And what does that mean around the nation? Well, we decided because we are so fortunate to have IAEM-USA's annual conference in Region 9 this year in 2023 here in Los Angeles, California. We wanted to introduce our Region 9ers to the world of IAM and get to everybody to know and meet our presidents. So that is the most amazing thing that we're able to do, but just a few things that we wanted to share today. Some quick updates that has happened since the last time we saw you is our symposium, our Region 9 in-person symposium is in 5 weeks. Yes, guys, in February 28th in Orange County, California. If you have yet to register, please do so. We want to give a huge shout out to two of our major sponsors, Merit and go visit them on Go Merit on all their social media platforms. Thank you for being our sponsors for this symposium, and Connect Consulting Services here in Sacramento, California. So thank you guys for being our sponsors for the symposium. With that, we also wanted to give you guys updates that we will be having our quarterly meetings scheduled and started for the first quarter, also kicking off in February. So please go to our website and we'll give you that information. With that, and as you can see, I am solo today because Isamar is also out. We kind of like switched, and now she's activated and doing things as I was activated last time. I want to introduce you to the very first president, but not because it was the very first person. She is just number one because she's on Region 1. And let's bring on Taylor to stage. Taylor, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Taylor. You are Region 1, the president of the amazing Region 1. So thank you for coming on the show today and introducing our members of Region 9 to you and your world over in the amazing East Coast. So for everyone, can you tell us about your beautiful region, what it comprises of, and a little bit about you and your board?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I know it goes numerically, but I'm still a little bit flattered that I'm first, I have to say. Even if even if it's just because we're Region 1, I'll take it. I'll take my words where I can get them. Yeah, so Region 1 is the 6 New England states. We are Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. If I had forgotten any of those, I would have been in serious trouble, so I think we're good. Um, we're the 6 New England states. We are kind of cranky and crass and cold all of the time, but really good, kind people, I promise. We're just a little rough around the edges. The way our board is structured is we have a president, which is me. I've got my vice president, Dave Muse, who's absolutely brilliant. And I'm only saying that in hopes that he's not actually listening to this podcast. I kid. We've got our secretary treasurer, who's also phenomenal, and we have state representatives. So we have one rep for all of our 6 states. We've also got a communications officer who does all of the things for public information and social media. We have a student representative. We have someone focused on just government affairs. We have a couple people doing diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff. And we're bringing on just kind of an ad hoc project manager this year because there's so much going on that we don't have enough capacity to do it all, which is a very good problem to have. So we're doing all of the things over here. We're trying our best to, that's for sure. I'm very, very proud of the work we're doing, and that it makes, like, doing things like this so easy because the team that we've got in Region 1 is just phenomenal, but I'm also biased, but they're just a fantastic, brilliant group of folks who are so kind and so smart, and I will stop gushing now, and if they call me on any of this, I'm denying it. I never said any of it.
No, continue to gush because my one thing I want to know about Region 1 is what do you think makes Region 1 so unique and so different from everyone else?
Well, so I think I can't verify this, but I'm pretty sure we're the smallest geographic region, which is both a good and a bad thing. It's great because in theory we are technically close, but it's also hard because asking someone to drive more than an hour and a half is you would have thought that that is the worst thing that you could have done to them because we get everywhere so quickly. So that makes us unique. I also think that just like the culture and the personalities of people we have out here, New England is very much um, quirky. I think someone said about folks, I think it was specific to Boston, but you can definitely generalize it to all of New England. But I really like the saying. Someone said that people in New England were not nice, but were kind because we're loud and we're kind of cranky, but we're also like going to go above and beyond to help people. It's just that we don't want to come across that way. And I just think that's a really good way of capturing who we are in New England. We're not nice, but we're very kind. So that's how I think I would sum it up.
Oh, awesome. I will have to make this comment because I'm a huge football fan. So I know you guys have the New England Patriots. How's that going for you? No, I'm kidding.
Okay, don't rub it in.
I'm not saying anything because my Los Angeles Chargers did not fare well either at the end of the day. So
My
we're on the
goodness, we
same
were doing
boat.
so well for so long. Oh, we got spoiled. I really can't complain.
Definitely. And I will tell you that I'm not a Patriots fan, but I was always a Gronkowski fan. So I would still watch. I was one of the many viewers for the
That's
player.
fair.
But that has nothing to do with emergency management unless I get a job to be an EM there, then I would be fabulously happy and say, okay, let's take it. I'm great with that.
Come on over to Region 1. We'll take you.
Yay! So I also love, and I'm going to use your word over and over again because you keep saying gushing, and I love that you're just so excited and so proud of your region. And I kind of, not because we're going to want to steal your ideas or maybe rob and duplicate, maybe, but not totally steal them. But I want to know what really cool activities have you done, and what activities just really like sparks interest of your members.
Yeah, so we're kind of undergoing, I think, a pretty big shift this year because previously, so last year, I think when we were pulling like some end of year data, we did like 90 different activities last year from webinars to happy hours to seminars to just so much stuff. That we're trying to now kind of shift this year and structure it in a way that it's a little bit more evidence based and data driven. In the
Hmm.
past, we've always just kind of done the stuff that we're interested in and we're jazzed about and excited about, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but we really want to make sure that we're hearing our members and we're giving them what they want as well, right? And so last year, we did monthly webinars. So every month we brought in someone interesting that had something really cool and a unique experience to share. So we did that on a monthly basis. We did virtual and in person, like happy hour mixers, which were
Oh,
really fun. Yeah, it's just like a laid back way to hang out with your EM friends, you know. Um, we did we always used to do like annual conferences, but we stopped those because of COVID. And so last year, in a way to kind of bring them back, we did a symposium, but it was a sit down dinner where we did kind of 7 minute like lightning talks about some sort of innovative thing that people were working on in the region. And we also paired it with an awards ceremony so that we could highlight all of the incredible work that our Region 1 members are doing. Because after the past like 2 or 3 years, it would be doing ourselves a disservice to not highlight how incredible these people are. Um, So that was a big thing that we did last year. We did a ton of work around government affairs. I always pick on Christian, our government affairs guy, because he came to us and he was like, I've got a 3-year plan. And 1 year in, we were already like 2.5 years into the 3-year plan. So we're going to kind of keep the momentum going on that work this year. I don't know. We've tried our best to do it all. During COVID, we did an after action workshop series. It was all virtual, which was interesting, but we kind of broke it up into sectors. So we did like higher education, healthcare, private sector, um, and like our government public sector folks. And we just kind of talked through the basics again of how to like do an after action because I don't think that anyone had to do that scale of an after action, and if they had, it was not for a very long time. So it was just a good reminder to get back to basics. Those are kind of like some of the fun things that, I mean, we've done a lot of fun things, but those are kind of the things that I always like to highlight that we've done in the past.
I think it's interesting how a lot of your activities and concepts of conversation literally was one way driven and then pivoted because of the pandemic, of the historical change in emergency management. Because what we knew emergency management in December of 2019 is definitely not what we know March of 2020 anymore. It's huge, and I think that AAR topic, I might have to, okay, I might have to Robin duplicate that one and then the dinners. Sorry,
We will give you
I'm
all of the
saying that.
documentation. You can have it. We are not going to hoard it. No, no,
Yay!
no. It's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, but I will give credit where credit is due. So, if Region 9, if you guys hear we're doing something like this, thank you, Region 1. We're we're gonna probably try to apply it. So
We'll take
definitely
our gold star stickers in the mail. I appreciate it. Thank you.
we'll give the certificate of completion. I had to.
I love it.
The conference thing is still at me. But you know, I think sometimes in a leadership position, we try to do so much great stuff for our membership, and sometimes it's really hard. And you were saying about, distance, right? Some people don't want to drive the hour and a half. Some people don't want to drive be in maybe 40 minutes, or because of virtual settings now, everything's just so much easier to do in this way. Like, right now between New England and the West Coast, we're meeting and doing everything virtually. um, what are some changes that you saw, um, since you've taken leadership as VP and now as president in Region 1? And what are things that might resonate within your membership and maybe some concerns that they've had, with the change? And it's nothing like how did you listen to those concerns, or what are the concerns, and how did you build, um, to to serve your membership?
Yeah, I'll start by saying that I think we're still constantly evolving and figuring that out. And I think part of it has to do with just the world we live in, right? Like it's never going to be kind of constant engagement with folks. It's going to ebb and flow because we live in a weird, crazy world where our work is just a roller coaster. And so I think kind of level setting that as the expectation is really helpful, knowing that it's not always going to be consistent. Um, that being said, I mentioned kind of when we first started that we're trying to shift into this world of a little bit more data driven and evidence based. In the
Mhm.
past, it was a much smaller board, and so our capacity was a lot more limited, but we were still trying to do all of the things. And so I think that what we learned from that, it's kind of boring, honestly, because it's a lot of like back end admin stuff, but we learned how important it is to like document everything. So everything we do in the region has a process written down somewhere so that we can say to our membership, hey, if you want to host a webinar, here's the SOP, copy us on the email so that we're looped in basically. And it's really allowed us to be able to, one, I think, open like a two-way dialogue with folks. So it's not just whatever we want, but it really allows folks to tell us what they're looking for. Um, but I also think it just allows us to do more and more meaningful things, right? So um, I think that's kind of how it's shifted a little bit. we're still working on, like I said, we're still working out the kinks. We're still figuring out what we can and can't do. Um, but it's been interesting, and I think it's been really fun, and I think that's kind of where we're going, longer term and in the future.
Sounds like with change, um, leadership has to become nimble, right? And we always say semper gumby. What has been the most rewarding experience or moment or that aha as being president? And then what was that one thing that I don't like to say challenge, but made you become a better leader?
I don't know if I have one moment that like sticks out as like the pinnacle of my like reign of terror, if you ask any of the other people on the board. I think that like the biggest thing to me that has stuck out is just how passionately people in Region 1 have responded to things. And so like at the meeting we had at the annual conference back in October, November, whenever it was, um, just to see like the amount of people in that meeting was exciting because we don't always get large turnouts to the conferences. We're a pretty small region. I get it. So to see just the sheer amount of people there and how interested they were and how complimentary and excited they were about the stuff that we're doing in the region, it makes my heart so full because we're all working really hard for the region, and so just to like see that is
Mhm.
really really exciting. So I think that was kind of the pinnacle moment where it's like, oh, this is actually like I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but this is really really stinking cool, and people are excited about it. And so I'm fiercely proud of Region 1 for that, but just I'm just fiercely proud of the really friggin' awesome people we have in Region 1. The flip side of that, the challenge, I feel like I need to make a sandwich. So I'll do my challenge and then something else
Woohoo!
complimentary. I don't know. I think the challenge is just like your point, right? The constant squishiness of it, that like ebb and flow of figuring out on the fly almost how to adapt. Like, so we do a board retreat at the beginning every year. We build out a program calendar. It looks great on paper. We're like, we've got the hours figured out. We've got all this in the bag for the year. And then June, we're all like exhausted, and there's 40 other things on the program calendar. And uh, I think it's like that. I think it's the balance of just trying to find the balance, I think, is the biggest challenge. And I don't know if it's just a me thing. I hope it's not. I like to think that our VP can kind of share that sentiment, but that's the biggest thing I think that's been a challenge for me. It's just that balance is really, really hard to find.
And so balance, I could totally hear you because you're not only balancing the work that you lead, right? But you're also balancing your day job, your roles in your personal life. Um, what is the one of the biggest suggestions you have for all the leaders in IAM, not just for your region, but for everyone? Um, if any pro tips, any like favorite quotes, what would you suggest for us to continue? Because I assume one of the things that I love about IAM is how we try to build character and unity relationships. But no matter whether you are the president of Region 1 or a member of Region 1 and vice versa, anywhere in the region, we're all leaders in some capacity. So, what would you like to share, or what's your pro tip as a leader to our membership and to anyone who's listening today?
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many things. Um, I think the biggest thing that I know I've learned over the past year, year and a half is to just check in with yourself, but also check in with everybody else on the team. Check in with like your people and your crew because, like I said, we've done a ton and we'll go, 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 go. And I give Dave, my vice president, a ton of credit because he's always like, okay, but are we checking in with the people? Do they need a break? Are people exhausted? And I'm like, oh, you're right. Just because I'm going at this speed and someone else is going at this speed doesn't necessarily mean that we're all okay.
Right.
Um, so I think just check on your people and check on yourself. Try not to burn yourself out if you can, which is such a loaded sentence. I know it's hard and it's stressful, but check in with people.
So everyone checking in, we're going to start checking in for 2023. And every time you check in with your people, with your members, with your spouses, your partners, your dog, whoever, just remember to always check in because that's how we know and build our relationships. And as we grow as leaders, remember Taylor said it first, to check in. For sure. Um, One fun question. As somebody like myself in Region 9 who's never been to your amazing region, Region 1, and we're going to do the emergency management role, right? So, as an EM in Region 1, what is the must seen locations, food, things that we have to do if with a typical stereotype of an emergency manager? Where should I go?
Oh man. I should make a sassy comment, but I'll refrain. I'll keep it classy.
All good.
Um, oh man, that's so hard. There's so many cool places. How long do we have for your vacation? How long are you here for?
Okay, I'm here for 7 days. I'm going to do a week.
Oh, good. We have a day in each state. Perfect. And then like a rest day. I don't know. Oh man. Stereotypically, there's a ton of like really cool like microbreweries and cider places. Those are always really fun to check out. We're doing like weird, quirky things with chemistry over here, so that's kind of cool. Um, for more of like the EM standpoint, there's a ton of history out here, which I think is one of the coolest things. Um, one of my favorite things, and it makes me laugh, but like the Great Molasses Flood in Boston, there's like plaques and things, and it's such a like goofy incident in theory, but like it's just that to me kind of stands out because it's like a quirky little weird one. Um, there's tons of things like that. Um, it's just a beautiful place. I don't know. That's such a hard question. That's the hardest question you've asked me, Jackie. Is that sad?
No, you know what that means? We're going to have to do some advanced planning over here.
Wait, okay, give me a week and I'll put together a whole itinerary for you. I'll color code it. It'll be perfect.
Oh, yay! I'm so about that. I will tell you, I am a chowder person. So anywhere I could get some really good clam chowder. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that San Francisco has some good ones, but obviously it's not like you guys. So I will find every chowder hub and we'll talk um, EM stuff, guys. We'll engage. We'll do some engagement on that. And with that, obviously, you don't always navigate engagement around chowder or microbreweries. And if you do, I definitely need to go to Region 1. You definitely
I
have to do
mean,
there.
that's a big part of our personality for what it's
I
worth.
love it. I am so for it. But how do you navigate engagement? So I'm going to throw an easy one. Social media. So do shout outs to your social media
Yep.
at the time. But how else do you navigate their engagement besides your activities and your board meetings and stuff?
We navigate it like a roller coaster. Um, it 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 ebbs and flows, right? So this past year we started doing a monthly newsletter, and our communications officer Josh does a beautiful job of it, and we try and just like capture all of the things happening. So we started doing that. Um, we also tried to kind of one of the big ways that we try and get folks engaged too is a lot of the government affairs work we're doing. So part of that newsletter also includes like legislation that's either being talked about or being passed in the region that's relevant to our EM folks. That's another big thing that folks are really um, excited about and engaged in. Um, we're also trying to kind of diversify how we're engaging people, like you said, social media and newsletters. But I mean, the other benefit of like having a small geography is that we can do a lot of in-person stuff, and so we try and balance in-person and virtual as well as kind of the time frame of when we're doing it. So We offer, we started doing a book club this year, and that's been a big success. But we weren't sure because it was something outside of normal work hours, and so sometimes people want to do stuff after 7 o'clock. Sometimes people want to watch a webinar on their lunch break, and so we try and just like diversify what we're doing and when we're doing it, because we know that the people that we're serving are a diverse body of people, and we want to make sure we're trying to get to as many of them as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are ending our time with each other, Taylor. I am, last question. Will I see you 2023 in Long Beach for IAM conference?
I will be there with a vat of sunscreen because I'm too pasty for warm weather, but I will be there.
So everyone, well, first and foremost, before I tell everybody to come meet you at the conference, thank you, Taylor, for joining us today and really spotlighting the amazing work that Region 1 is doing for all of our EMs in New England. I appreciate your time, your dedication, your service, and repping Region 1 so well. And yes, you were first, but I'm glad we had you come in first. Don't all of the regions, so they'll get mad at me at that.
Yeah,
It's been a true pleasure,
no pressure,
Taylor.
rest of the regions. I'm just setting the bar really high for
You
everybody
did.
else.
So region 2, region 3, region 4, yeah.
I'm
It's
kidding.
been
I'm totally kidding. They're
game
all
on.
so great. Ooh.
It's not fighting words, it's collaborative words. We're going to collaborate
Exactly.
together and then come together in Los Angeles or Long Beach, which is in Los Angeles County. Sorry, guys. But thank you, Taylor, for joining us. If you guys want to meet Taylor, she will be at conference this year. You will get to meet her and the Region 1 crew, and yes, in the Region 9 crew too. The Region 1 crew this November 2023. So call for speakers are coming out. Start looking for your registration. Be there, and it's going to be a great time. Because if I'm just enjoying you for this first 30 minutes, I can just imagine meeting you in person at Region. So I really do. Sorry, at conference, not in our region, but I really do look forward to doing that with you. So thank you, Taylor. And any last shout outs, or do you want to tell us your social media handle on Instagram or Twitter?
I don't have an Instagram or a Twitter, but Region 1 is on all of the social medias. We've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Twitter, we've got all of the things. All of them are at IAM Region 1. We update them all of the time. Um, I I could talk for hours and hours about the great stuff we're doing in Region 1. So I encourage you to follow us on all of our social media so I can continue to brag about all of the wonderful things that we're doing. And I will extend, Jackie, seriously, if there is anything that we can do for you for any of the regions, um, we're always more than happy to do that. If there's any questions or any resources that we can provide, please just reach out. We would love to do whatever we can.
Definitely. Thank you, Taylor. We will. And Region Niners, as you guys are so awesome and always following us on social media, and we always tell you to follow us at I am R9. We're asking you today not only to like and follow, but follow Region 1. Follow our family in the New England area and show them the support and give huge shout outs to our EMs over there. Their family. We're connected between IEM, USA, and we're an international family too. Um, we want to say thank you again to Taylor for joining us today. Thank you to Brian, our amazing producer, the man behind the screen, making this a fabulous time and getting us going. We appreciate you, and most of all of our members and listeners in Region 9. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for being awesome. We appreciate everything you do. We're signing off. Have a great night, Region Niners. As always, rock on.